Jesse, we found the magazine.
Okay, one day I'll get it.
I hope we don't. I hope we don't lose it again. We're just waiting for the island to finish their chimchurri.
So, Rabbi Stein, I have a question. With the ring,
I thought you were going to say Mariv. Sorry.
Oh, Myra is over already. Chimchurri.
Okay,
Now
fine,
we're
okay,
not doing
fine.
the chimchurri.
Okay, sorry, Jesse.
There you go. This is right here.
so Rabbi Stein, with the ring, if you have to shut off the physical ring or just your phone's ability to talk to it if it's on Shabbos?
If you don't shut it off, it's going to record, isn't it?
But most of the things you don't want it to record.
No, but you're very happy when it records you coming in and out.
No, you don't care if it records you.
But you are, because you're happy that it's recording. Meaning, when the yeshivas record you, so we're not so concerned because nobody wants to be recorded in the yeshivas, especially when you're sneaking schnapps, during Haftarah or whatever. I mean, I'm saying the Oilam.
No, that Kiddush club ended.
Okay, but I was just saying that nobody wants to be recorded in the yeshiva, but when it's recording at home, then you're happy that you're being recorded. If somehow you could put it on a time clock that, like when you come in and out from the house, it stops recording, then you'd be fine.
So if you have no interest in it recording you because you just want it to record,
Yeah, but you do have
something,
interest. That's
there's a
what you
problem.
do have interest. You have interest in recording you because it can't record unless it records you too.
I got you.
Unless you go in the back door. If you go in the back door, maybe then that would be fine.
Gotcha.
So the Amazon still has no idea whether your ring is on or not. Well, but it doesn't. It stops the stealers because they see the ring and they don't want to. So then.
You want your cameras on.
No, they're not that smart. We catch them all the time.
No, they don't care. That's
No, it's not that they don't care. They're just not that smart.
No, forgot to put it in.
They don't even notice.
what?
They don't even notice.
It's a feature of being black.
This is true. It says ring on it, so they can't read it. They don't understand.
Ooh, the racism is what it is.
They
It's
opened
not
up
racism, it's realism.
they opened up a pharmacy in the Bronx called Dwayne Can't Read.
Yeah.
He's an equal opportunity racist.
Okay. Okay, we're up to Siman Ches, right? We started. I think we did Aleph last week. Did we not do Aleph last week?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, all those boxes, those too bad there's so many. So Julie, look at these. Are you sure you wouldn't be able to fit?
You gotta mute
Small.
yourself, Jeff.
Oops, sorry.
I'm anti-Semites. They're too big. They're too good off the road.
Okay, so Siman Ches, Sif Beis. Hopefully we'll finish this tonight. Then next week we start on tzitzis. Right, tzitzis is a major subject. Tzitzis, then tefillin. Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about all the things that you're not allowed to do before davening. Anybody who has Hasidic roots ought to step out.
About not eating no meals.
You know what's coming next about not eating Tara davening, right?
Actually, in Islam, there's a minute to eat. Where? You see the davening, you understand why.
But
They need the energy to daven. They daven. Islam. Their nishmas, Shabbos, is 45 minutes.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I davened like that. Yeah.
No. They don't have a.
Okay, so
I don't wish I davened like that. I'm happy the
You
way I
don't-
davened. No.
you happy the way you daven? I am so unhappy the way I daven.
Maybe there's something wrong with me that I'm happy with the way I'm davening.
You're
I'm
a
a
good
step
man.
behind you. I'm a step behind you.
You're a good man. But a lady today was texting me. She says she davens Baruch She'amar and she davens what she can, but then can she talk? Because she said Baruch She'amar. I said, well, why don't you daven Shmoneh Esrei? She's not holding by davening Shmoneh Esrei yet. She's not holding there at all. No, she's
Ever
not
or
holding.
just at that point in the morning?
No. So no, it came out she's not holding by being able to daven Shemona Esrei properly.
Tzaddikus.
So
I'm the
therefore,
exact same way.
what?
I'm the same way.
I know, but I'm going to talk about myself. I'm also the same way. I'm not holding there, but I do it anyways, right? Right, but that's so. I said, why
don't
can't you
do
just?
it. I attempt to, but I
Yeah, right. No, that's. So then she says, I said, why don't you just daven Shemona Esrei without Baruch Shema? I thought maybe she's not holding by davening the Zimra, the this and that. She said, no, she's not holding by being able to daven Shemona Esrei properly.
It's an amazing cop out.
I don't know if it could be it's a cop out or not, but you know what? I never gave it a thought that I'm not holding by something, right? I don't think
You
I'm
fake
holding
it till you
by-
make it. That's Yiddishkeit right there.
That could
Wow.
be, but the bottom
No, but
line-
also we've been saying it since we're 7 years old or 8, 10, or 13 years old, every single day, that it just becomes part of your life. You don't even think about it.
well, I know, so that's not a good thing, right?
I'm saying, but the women who haven't been saying it all the time, so
Could
they have to
be.
be holding by it.
Okay, it could be,
We just
but
do
it's-
it.
Yeah, could be, but it was a musser. It was a good musser. It was a good musser. To Rabban, I think you're muted.
I just came in, but I don't know it, but that's just mice all the time. It's a whole bunch of the tzaddikim who didn't die. They waited for till they got they
Till
weren't
they
ready
had
to
their
die.
right.
They weren't ready to die.
Yeah,
So-
I wish I was like that. Even one time, I wish I was like that.
I was started by a lady.
What can I tell you?
Didn't like Shabbos until she was ready.
Then what?
Like Shabbos until she was
No,
ready.
that you can't do. That you can't do. Listen, I'm not saying that she's right or wrong. The bottom line is to at least have those thoughts. Wouldn't hurt us. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Anyways, so we're discussing all the things you're not allowed to do before you daven. So now we're up to Sif Beis. For Aser Loi, the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch has a fascinating psak in this Sif. It says, "For Aser Loi lechol el lishtos," you're not allowed to eat or drink before davening. Shenemar Loi seichlu al hadam. Don't eat on blood. Right? Meaning Loi seichlu doesn't mean don't eat on when you're sitting on blood, right? Loi seichlu kaidem sheyispalu al dimchem. Right? Essentially, dam is considered that's what keeps you alive, right? So don't eat before you daven for your blood. Anybody who eats or drinks and then davens, Allah on him the pasuk says, says and me you sent after your gaiva. I'll take your gavecha meaning gaiva. So Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu la'achar shenizgo hazeh after this person is a Baal Gaiva, he says, first I got to take care of myself. Then I'm going to acknowledge that Hashem is the one that controls the world. Right? That's improper.
Is that what?
So the question is, the davening means the entire davening. I'm sorry.
Is that what it says? Not even a did?
They drank.
There's
There's different versions. Yes, there's different versions of what they did, but yeah.
But there is a Rambam that said you.
One second.
So we do more the ani, we do the brachas, we do certain davening, and then we eat.
No,
So it's not like, it doesn't say the entire tefillah, it doesn't say
Tefillah
the
means
entire.
Ikra din tefillah means Shemona Esrei. We'll get to that. We'll get to what you said, right? But afilu lishtais. Okay, what's that? So before we go weiter, no. Let's finish the Kitzur first. Afilu lishtais kafe, oitei im sukkar v'cholov aser. Even to drink coffee or tea with sugar and milk is aser.
So just milk or just sugar? Or...
No, that's also
Right.
aser. Any drink like that is going to be aser. We'll see after. He's going to say water is mutter.
Who say this?
This is the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Right? Ve'ish zakein v'chalosh, and an elderly person, and now I don't know how you touch this. Does this mean who has the art scroll? Jesse, you have an art scroll there? There's an art scroll right here. Ve'ish zakein v'chalosh. Does that mean an elderly person and he's weak, or does it mean two separate
Either
people?
or both.
Right. Is it a ish zakein v'chalosh? He's elderly and he's weak, or is it or?
Yeah, it's English.
Right.
How is it two people?
She'enoi
No.
yochol lamed al nafshay.
It's one.
Right? So literally means he's not able to stand on his soul. That's a literal translation. Ad eis yitzias atzirim v'sekneses. He just doesn't have the strength.
An older, weak person
Or
who does not have
the
enough
article
strength
translated or.
to wait
Or
to
they
eat.
say or. weak or elderly or weak. So he doesn't have koyach to not eat till after shul. Specifically on Shabbos and Yom Tov, that the shul takes a long time. So then listen to this psak, yeah. Yoiser toy better lahatuloi lispal shachris bebeisai. Better that he should daven shachris at home alone. It doesn't mean with a corona tent minion or whatever it is, right? Benachas, that's the thing though. Not a chick-chack, the yechidus, the way we do it when you daven yechidus, right? But you daven at home, benachas, the kaddish, then make kiddush, v'yoichal eizadavar, then he could eat. V'achakach, yelech lebeis hakneses, v'yechaven libo yom hatzibar v'tfilas shachris, which is also an interesting psak. It says, then go to shul, and when the tzibur is davening, have in mind that your tefillah is with them. How does that work? You're not davening, right? Okay, but that's what it says. V'yechaven libo yom hatzibar v'tfilas shachris.
That means
Right?
he's going up early.
He's got to wake up a little earlier, correct?
That means they're not at home
Yes.
before they start.
If you don't mind, yeah, thank you. Yes, okay. So
Well, I mean, if he's going to eat before davening, he's got to wake up a little earlier anyway. So now he's got to wake up a little earlier than that to daven.
no, but it's
No.
a lot earlier.
Shmuel
No?
David, davening starts 8:30 most places, right? So
Okay.
I'm up. So should I have my coffee and cake, which I do, and then go to shul, or should I make daven first and then have the coffee, then make it have coffee?
So if you have your coffee and cake, you eat it at 8:20. You eat it at 8:20. You leave the shul 8:25 and finished. But if you got to do the yechidus and you want to be there for Shema Yisrael, so then you gotta daven.
No, he's saying no, not be. You're davening home. He's
That's what I'm saying. So you got to get up earlier.
It's
No.
a half hour. That's what's the
Okay. Yeah.
Shabbos davening yechid. It's a half hour more.
Yeah.
But
That's why Kiddush was not a problem.
Kiddush club.
It's
Why
after
is it not a
Shemona
problem?
Esrei.
It's a different problem, but again.
Daven shot. Yeah,
It's
that's
after
true.
Shemona Esrei.
But there's many other problems.
No,
You're just saying. You're just for this facet of it. It's better. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So okay. So now we have a Torah here that better to do Kiddush club than to eat before davening. Okay. Everybody can take out what they want from the Kitzur. I hear. It's a fair
I don't
argument.
think the kids wanted that.
No, Mustama, he did not want that. But then if you think about it, what's the difference if I daven b'yechidus at home or I daven b'yechidus in shul, or I'm eating after the daven, after I daven. So okay, I don't know.
The Rabbi Stein, here you see, it's pretty clear that he can eat before Muslim.
Yeah. Yes. That's a good point. Very good point. From here, it's mashma that you could eat before Musaf. However, he says v'yoichal eza dover. He doesn't say to sit and eat a sudas shleim b'shaita. He says eat eza dover to give you strength.
I spell laser with two Z's.
Okay, yes.
He said when.
Right. He says the Yakai says yoiser tov lahatuloi lispalo shachas bebeisoi benachas. Right, to daven at home, benachas v'yakadish v'yoichal eza dover.
That's before Shabbos. I don't know if that's before Muslim. I hear you
No,
saying.
it's not before Shabbos. No.
That's
Yeah,
after.
yeah.
Daven Shabbos
No,
bebeisoi
no.
benachas, then make kiddush and eat eza dover.
Asa double. You go like this. I go Asa double.
I had a chanami, so you got chimchari over here. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I was going to say.
But where does it come from?
Yeah.
Where does it come from? You're allowed to drink a coffee before davening if it's going to make you.
One second, so
daven.
let's finish. One second, let's finish. So let's finish what he says.
He said with sugar and milk.
The Kitzur the Kitzur right now is saying that it's better to daven b'yechidus than to eat before davening, which is not the accepted mahalach of the Welt, right? Then he says, "V'loy sheyishte kafeh im sukkar kedayim v'loy kabbalas ol ma'achal shemayim tefila," right? And you shouldn't drink coffee with sugar without being mekabel ol ma'achal shemayim tefila. Okay, so now that's the bad news. That's the bad news. Now here's the good news, or the semi-good news. L'tzarich refuah, but if you need it for healing purposes, mutter lechol v'lishtas koydem atfila, shein b'zeh mishum geis. That's not gaiva. You're eating it because of health reasons.
Like medicine.
Right?
You need to take medicine.
If you need to take medicine, or if the doctor says you can't, you really you're really not shvach, but the doctor says you gotta put some calories into your body before you go. See this next line, I'm not sure why it's not a stira to what he said before. Right? If you don't have the ability to concentrate without eating and drinking, if you want, then you're able to eat and drink before tefillah, right? So there is the big heter, right? That if you need it in order to be able to concentrate in the davening, then you're allowed to eat and drink before davening. So 1 second. So what did he mean before?
When he said he should do it at home. When he said he should do it at home.
What do you mean?
No, before he said,
Let's
it's louder, they
back
say.
up, let's back up. The whole point you said you can't eat because you shouldn't eat on the dam, right? Why? Because it's sky with it, right?
Because it's guy.
Does you just want to eat? Does you want to eat?
So go a little weiter.
But if you need to eat, there's a reason. It's not outside.
Yeah, so but he said already before, there's a reason.
You
You should go
also
home and do it over there.
No, stay home, eat a little bit, and then go to shul.
Before he gave a different solution. If you need it, you should do it at home.
So he
Come
said
to
that was
shul
ish zaken v'cholosh.
What's it? Right. So
That's maybe different than
so
someone who
that's
can't
the question. Well,
concentrate.
why? So it's
Because they could have
Before he
kavanah
says-
with tefillah.
right. So before he says ish zaken v'cholosh, she'eino
Stam
yochel
azoi.
lamoid al nafshoy. Sounds like he
He's
just he
abgeschwach.
can't do it.
So if you
So
can't do it, then you should be able to eat. That is
Right.
the
So
theory.
right. So that I would say, which is meaningless. What I would say it should be exactly the opposite of what the Kitzur says. The Kitzur says that if he's old or he's weak and he doesn't have the physical ability to get through shul, then he should make kiddush at home.
But he can
But a
concentrate.
guy who has the physical ability, he just can't concentrate. He
Then you
should eat before and go to shul without davening.
Why?
Yeah, because a
Very
guy
simple.
like that
Very
shouldn't
simple,
miss
because the guy
davening
who's sick,
b'tzibur.
What did he say?
That fellow, the last fellow, he shouldn't miss davening b'tzibur. He has no reason to miss davening b'tzibur.
You're saying
The
he's
old-
because
The older gentleman has a reason to miss davening
I
b'tzibur.
mean he's part of it.
He must eat. This fellow, he can't concentrate. Everybody enjoys a coffee before davening, so
I hear.
it's not the.
Are you saying the same thing?
both of these guys, ish zaken v'cholosh, they can concentrate. Let them daven at home. They'll have the same
So he's
kavanah.
saying similar to you, but a little different. I hear both pshat. You hear what he's saying here on the screen on the Zoom? Rabban Horowitz is saying that a guy who's weak is bad and potter. He doesn't have the physical koyach to daven, so he's potter from tefillah b'tziva, right?
That's because they.
No, so we said better, but he's not potter. So daven the yechidus because bad and you potter and then eat. The other guy is not potter. He just can't concentrate. It's good, so he should eat. He should eat before. He shouldn't. He's not potter from tefillah b'tziva. And you're saying.
The zaken
You're saying
v'cholosh he can have the same kavanahs at home. A
You
guy
say
who
the
can't
other,
have
the Zaken
kavanahs.
Cholosh is he could daven with the same the guy at home, the guy who can't concentrate.
Yosef told to daven with the tzibur, he'll have more kavanah there.
He means by him concentration is more important. Or whatever. It's for him. It's
Feel
Okay.
the kavanah. is
I
the
hear.
ikar.
I hear. So the bottom line is that if you taka shvach and you're not gonna be able to concentrate on the davening, then the Kitzur says you are allowed to eat before davening. Right? But you better have a good davening though. If you're gonna do that, you better have a good davening. Right? Don't come rolling in by Baruch Hu, right? Because you needed your koyach. But that's what you're saying about Slonim.
Oh, you should see
Right?
that.
I'm saying the Chassidim in Square, one of the kids in Yeshiva Rockaway today was telling me he was in Square and he davened at 11:30. I said, okay, you davened 11:30 Shabbos. Did you also say the whole Tillim before davening? He said, no, I didn't do that part. I told you that you have to daven your chitas. I said, it's one thing if you do if you play the game the way they play it, fine. If you don't play it the way they play it, so then you can't do that. Okay, fine, but then what are you gonna do? But yeah. Okay, so now, but there's a few things. If you're taka gonna eat before davening, so then you should say Shema. That's what we already learned last week. Kabbalah Somach Shemayim before you eat is going to take
Even if
away-
all you're having is a cup of coffee, you're not eating anything. Just a cup of coffee.
Yes.
You should still say
Sure.
Shema.
Certainly, if you're eating, you should say Kriya Shema. Just a cup of coffee. See, that's the thing. I don't know anybody. I mean, I know people that are machmer nowadays not to have coffee with sugar and milk, but it seems, I think even the Mishnah Berurah says it. Certainly the placemen that are on the Mishnah Berurah say that nowadays drinking a coffee with sugar and milk is not considered gaiva. That's almost like water, right? It's not like, see, I would say, so guys have asked, like, can they go get a frappuccino, cappuccino?
I was just.
That's already.
Right? Can you do that? That already.
Over 99 cents, you can go.
anything over 99 cents. I hear that, guy. Okay, I can hear that. Right? So all those chichinos and whatever. So then those l'chayra, that's gaiva. That's because you're taking care of yourself. But a coffee, bisman hazeh, with sugar and milk, there's no reason to be machmer in a coffee, sugar and milk. I don't think you have to be. I would think you don't have to say Kriya Shema before that.
It's not a bad thing. What's the concern? What's the concern?
No, it just takes more time. It just takes more time, right? What about smoking before davening?
What about smoking period?
Okay, that's a different story.
Yeah.
And what about eating fried chicken like that's going out of style? That's not healthy. That's also not healthy.
It's going out of style.
Going out of style. Maybe he's already out of style. Depends who you ask. From Chimchari, you know.
No, in all seriousness.
There's other kosher restaurants. You get them also.
Yeah.
There's no
Yaakov.
What? That it's also to smoke. Yeah, but it's also to overeat too. It's pashut also to overeat. It's also to overeat. There's no question about it. But we're not getting involved with that. We're not going down that road.
We're all standing.
Yeah, huh? What are you saying, Rabar?
I just want the Chabadska fellow I worked with years and years ago. So he said he was a real Chabadska from the Hain, but the Chayzer B'tshuva guys in Crown Heights, they would always chep him. They say, Moshe, you eat a half a pound of cake before davening Shabbos. So why are you getting upset? We're eating chicken before davening. Chicken's only a charcoal. What are you?
Okay, right. Okay. It's interesting though. It is interesting that you say that because I think the cake of choice before davening, at least certainly the guys that sneak into the shul kitchen before, is sponge cake.
Sponge and pound.
Right now, sponge cake. It's very light and it's kemat from what I understand, there's kemat no flour in sponge cake.
Really?
It's almost all sugar. So he brings here on the bottom that even if you're going to eat before davening, listen to this chumrah. This was gishmak. When I saw this today, I thought, oh wow, this is a chumrah for the ages. You should eat less than a shear because then it's not considered an achila, right? I said not. He brings that. Who does he bring it from? He brings it from somebody major. He doesn't bring it from.
The Rebbe. The hashtag Rebbe.
Yeah, he brings it from Shlomo Zalman. From Shlomo Zalman Auerbach and Alicha Shlomo. He says you should eat less than a kazayis, or not in a kedei achilas pras. Right? And he says you have to say Birchas HaShachar and Kriya Shema even before that. Right? But that's it. That was an interesting one, the taka, you know. Now everybody's going to take it and say, oh, Givaldik. Reb Shlomo Zalman says that before davening you could eat pachas mikazayis, no problem. Although when you think about it, I don't know. I never thought about it. So you think it's not an achila. It's not an achila. It doesn't have a din achila.
Kazayis is not a lot.
Kazayis is not a lot. But if you do it one kazayis, then you go read the paper, and 9 minutes later eat another kazayis. Then you start with shiurim from Yom Kippur. You know, you get you do a lesson.
Now we can read the paper on Shabbos.
I didn't see that. No, sorry, I mean, that's not what we're saying.
That's bad.
Whatever, but that's what Shlomo Zalman says. If you feel weak, then that's what you should do. Right? So what about smoking? So, but a lot of people need the smoking, they need the cigarette officially for their digestive system. They're able to go to the basic kisi. They're able to listen. Guys swear like that. First of all, I would
Definitely
say,
works.
I
You
would
have no
say,
idea.
Definitely works.
if it works for your body, it could be that it's healthy to smoke a cigarette. It could be. We're not going down that road. Although I don't know. We have to take a vote on Shavuos night if we're doing smoking cigarettes as a mutter usr. Cigarettes,
also
marijuana,
works. Coffee
schnapps,
also
and
works.
overeating. I'm thinking that maybe, but I have to take a poll, see if they're gonna be interested in that.
Some
But
marijuana.
yeah.
You have any special things for the shirt?
Then there's another issue that he brings here in the footnote from the Mishnah. It's just like you're not supposed to eat before Megillah laning, right? And lulav, so you have the same issue with davening. Meaning, there's two reasons. The reason that the Kitzur says not to, sometimes the reason why the Kitzur says not to eat before davening, the Shulchan Aruch says not to eat before davening because it's gaiva, but you haven't been mekayim your mitzvahs hayom yet. We know that the rule halacha really is that until you mekayim your mitzvahs hayom, you're not supposed to eat.
That's one.
Out the covered for the mitzvah.
So some guys, it's different.
It's different reason. It's a different reason. So no, but that would take care. Then if you at least say a bracha, say brachas, birchas hashachar, and shema, that would take care of that because shema is your deraisa in the morning.
But you're still
You
missing
mekayim it.
mitzvah sayom. So you put on your tefillin to say Shema.
Well, he brings here somebody bring. I don't know if he brings it here. Or if you really the real way to do it is this is gonna already make it and nobody's gonna eat. Is you should put on your tefillin, say Shema,
Yeah.
then take off your tefillin, then eat,
Then go to shul.
and then go to shul. Put back tefillin on and go back to shul. That would be and eat less than a shear. That's mamish the from a way to go about eating before
By the time
davening.
you get to it, you're finished. You don't want to eat.
What? Yeah, that's the way that's what he says. Yeah. Fine. Yeah, so he brings also coffee. We already said that bismanazeh coffee is not a problem. But what about schnapps? He says that's also. Yeah, Mishnah Berurah says that's also. Schnapps and beer, wine, anything like that is going to be also. Soda, what about soda? I think the poskim for the most part look at soda like it's water. It's just flavored water. Salsa for sure is water.
Yaakov, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but you brought it up. So that would be a slippery slope. You're talking about the guys who were smoking. So the guy wants to smoke some weed before davening because that chills him out, gets him relaxed, works on his digestive system better than the cigarette.
Right, so then you can say you want to say the same thing with schnapps then.
No, schnapps, I see why not. No, it's a different, it's not the same thing.
I don't know how this became part of it.
It's not the same thing?
No.
I don't know how this became acceptable.
What, marijuana?
What do you mean?
The same reason that schnapps is acceptable.
Hello?
Sorry to say.
They
Okay, we're not doing that.
They took marijuana off. We don't test anymore for marijuana.
Yeah.
We can't reject them for driving.
Exactly.
What excuse do
Liquor
people
was
have
eating
to
also.
actually eat before davening?
What do you say?
Now, at least locally, there's a minute at any point you wake up. So what's the excuse to not just go daven and then
You talking about during the week or you talking about Shabbos?
yeah during the week you were just mentioning tefillin.
You're right. Well, first of all, if you have your makam kavua, where you can
What's the difference? But if you can't, when you have to eat, it's probably better to daven quicker, sooner.
It is
earlier.
probably better. Well,
So
during
then
the
just
week,
do that.
I don't think there should really be an issue during the week. Most people could survive for the 45 minutes.
I would think so. Shabbos, I understand, but
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Very-
I'm not sure if
very-
a person's. What do you say?
Very few chevra eat before davening during the week. They have coffee. They don't eat. People don't eat Danish before davening. They don't. Look
Right,
around.
usually
Shul.
not.
People don't. People don't.
Yeah, but what do you call it? I'm not so sure you're mechuyev to go. Believe it or not, what I'm going to say now, you're going to think I'm a fryer guy, or maybe you're right. But believe it or not, this running around from shul to daven, I don't think is the way Hashem wanted it to be. Hashem wanted you to have a shul that you daven. The bottom line is you do concentrate better if you're in your makom and you're used to those dalet amas, you're used to the chevra, you have your spot. There is something to makom
Not
kavua.
this shul, if you come 5 minutes late.
Well, you come 5 minutes late, you missed the boat. But I'm saying, but
Right?
no, I'm saying, it's not this whole Indian of running
that makes
around.
sense. But so then find the kavua that works for you.
Find a good that works for you. Yeah, okay, but let's say on any given day you got up early and then you don't have the koyach. So what should be better? Daven in your place where you could daven better? Both.
Every day.
Both.
Listen,
Yeah, it should be a set place. No, if you really want to take it, if you want to take it another step, if you don't have a set place to daven, there's nobody to mun you. I mean,
Most of your mind's
you don't feel a pressure to come to davening and to come on time because he didn't show up to davening today because he davened in the white shul, and then the next day davened in the aguda, and the next day davened here. There's no checks and balances. There's no accountability, right? Whatever. So
there was always
correct. But if you have your set place and the guy doesn't show up a few days, people are going to call. See how you feeling? Is everything okay?
What's going on? Where were you?
Right.
Obviously, that was the other two.
Oh, that's right. And nobody pays any attention. Yeah, it's a problem. Anyway,
What if you're going to a shir before davening, and somebody gives like a tikkun, or so you're making a siyum?
No one makes it.
Or someone had a grandson. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had a child or whatever.
Right. So
they bring
I don't
cake
think
and some
that's
schnapps.
the Olam does it, but I'm not so sure it's the correct thing to do. No, I'm saying people. What happens is you have guys that finish an earlier minyanim and then they come to a shir and they bring food. Right. So then the guys from the later minyan want to eat a bit before the minyan. I don't know. I don't think it's considered a mitzvah that it should be doicha this halacha. So I don't know. They should make it like Corona in sealed packages. You take it to go, right? Okay, weiter. Siv Gimel. Yeshoimrim shafilu imkom b'chatzos halayla. Right? This is negaya to the 5 o'clock in the morning people, right? Because if you get up at 5 and it's still night, then there's no problem to eat, right? No. Yeshoimrim, it's those that say shafilu imkom b'chatzos halayla. Even if you get up at chatzos. Also, like litom kaidem she is followed. Meaning, even though this man tefillah is not for another 5 hours,
but he can't daven.
Correct, but even so, you should not eat until you daven. Because you haven't yet davened. The first thing. The Kitzur brings it from the Magen Avram from the Zohar.
Wow.
So that's assuming you slept.
That whole Lag Baimer thing that's from the Zohar. So
that's assuming you slept.
You're pressing the whole night. How's that work?
No, only if you went to sleep. Only if you went to sleep. What are you saying?
So those
I said that's assuming you went to sleep.
Yeah. No, if he says incumbent, it's only if you, meaning the pshat in the Zohar is, from what I understand, if I could say pshat in the Zohar, but the way the place can say the pshat is that once you go to sleep, then when you get up, it's a new day. And the first thing you're supposed to do is you're supposed to daven. If you doze off,
you can't eat.
No. So the Welt doesn't. He says the Kitzur says v'chein nochen lahachmer. The proper thing to do is to be machmer like this. The Welt is not machmer on this, as far as I know. You know when this is the most negeya to fast days, right? In the winter, the fast day starts at 6:30 in the morning, 6 whatever. So everybody gets up before not everybody. Many people get up to. I have been known to go to sleep with a brownie and a drink next to my bed, so I don't even have to get up. Whatever, I don't even have to go downstairs. And if I'm up, I'll eat it. So it's. I don't say that with pride, but I'm just saying that's what he's saying not to do according to the Zohar. According to the Zohar, you can't do it. Right, but then he says, if you're going to be weak, then don't do this. Your heart, what is it? Cholash liba.
Right before we said is ish zaken v'cholosh. Now it's cholash liba.
Cholash liba, yeah. It sounds like it's more of a. It's not necessarily a physical weakness.
He's down.
I don't know if he's down. What are you talking about?
Cholash liba. He's
food. You want to say it means comfort foods? It's not the name.
No, he's aufgeschwach. He needs a pick me up to learn. Cholash. How's the translate cholash liba?
Cholash liba. I don't know. It means weak. It means strong. But then he pointed in the footnote from the Mishnah Brura, and this a lot of people don't chap on a fast day.
It says on the bottom.
Is that within a half hour of alois, you can no longer eat you can't eat bread. And just like within a half hour of Zman Mincha, you can't eat.
It says on the bottom of
so,
is. I
know, but I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's what that means. I don't know what that means. All right, but within a half hour, you can no longer eat more than a kibbeh of mazonis. You have to eat that more than a half hour before Shachris, before Alois.
Could be he's going to get a better geschmack to learn if he eats something. Like this, he's going to learn like this.
That's
if
what he
you eat
means. Of
something,
course, if you
it's
eat something, you're gonna go. Yeah.
That's a chalash.
Yes.
A
So
late
sif dalet, mayim, water, v'chein tea, a coffee, beloy sukkar, ubeloy challah. So water and tea and coffee without sugar and without milk. Mutter lishta is kaidem atfila. That it's mutter to drink before the tefillah. Afla achar shalom amad hashachar. Even after amad hashachar, kri'ein ba'elu mishum geyos. That's not gaiva. Nobody's looking at you like you're taking care of yourself before you're davening to Hashem. Right? That's not anything.
So the question is these days, what is considered that? Someone is proud to eat a piece of cake.
It's not about proud.
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with pride.
It's taking care of who you're not taking care of your maker before you're taking care of yourself. That's guy.
Right. Yeah, va'afilu b'Shabbos v'Yom Tov shechayev b'Kiddush. So you're chayev to make Kiddush. How do you eat before Kiddush? Mutter lishtos dvarim elu koydem atfila ve'ena Kiddush ma'akvay. Kiddush is not ma'akiv. Why not? Given shekoydem atfila dayin le'yigiyaz man Kiddush. This man Kiddush only happens on Shabbos and Yom Tov morning once you daven. They ain't Kiddush al b'makom suda, because we hold that Kiddush has to be b'makom suda. Dainu samach la'achila. And you're not allowed to eat. Right? This is a lumdus that I think the Olam doesn't understand. Why is it that you can drink before davening on Shabbos and Yom Tov? Why?
It's not a kfiyas.
Because what makes the chiyuv kiddush chal? But it's not really davening. But what's a pshat? The Kitzur is saying pshat. What is pshat davening? Because kiddush has to be b'makom suda, right? So you can't just, right? So you need to have a suda. A suda is also before davening. Now you've davened. Now you have the ability to have a suda. Now you can make kiddush, right? It all comes full circle. Why? The reason why you're allowed to drink, it's a fascinating thing. The reason why you're allowed to drink before davening is because you're not allowed to eat before davening, right? So I know there are some poskim that say that if you're going to eat if you're going to go with the coolest that you eat before davening, then you got to make kiddush. Because if you have a heter to eat before davening, then you should be mekayim kiddush from makom sudas, and mainly you have a chi of kiddush. It's chalam. Is that what he's saying? Again, the reason why you're not allowed, you can drink before davening is because davening, there's no chi of kiddush till you daven. Why is there no chi of kiddush till you daven? Because in order to be mekayim the mitzvah of kiddush, it has to be b'makom suda. But since you're not allowed to eat before davening, so it's not possible for you to be yotze kiddush because it's not going to be b'makom suda. So when does it kick in kiddush that's b'makom suda? Only once you daven, right? So it comes out that the reason why you're allowed to drink before davening is because you're not allowed to eat before davening. So then some place can say, I forget who they were, that say, so if you're the type of guy that eats before davening, so then you should be mechuyev to make kiddush. But then the problem gets worse because we said you can't drink wine before davening, right? You could drink the other drinks, you can't drink wine. So now what, right? So I don't know what they do with that. But that's the bottom line. So then you have a different machlokes whether you can make a chi of kiddush chal after shachris or musaf, right? So really, we're lechatchila machmer for both. Like even if you make kiddush after shachris, you should make kiddush again after musaf, right? Because it's what's all kiddush is in Shabbos morning is bar priya gafen, right? There's nothing. There's nothing else. Fine. Okay. We can finish this. Okay, let's go a little bit. Also, it's also to go to the door of your friend to be makabel panav or give him shalom before you daven. Even to say good morning. Hold yourself back from humans that have neshamas, because what are they chashav? Hashem says, why are you saying hello to him before you say hello to me? Right? So that's why you're not supposed to go to your friend's house before davening. But let's say you meet him in the street. You happen to meet him in the street. Mutalitin l'shalom hikra, then you can give him shalom. Ach nochen l'shanis l'shayne, but the proper thing to do is change your language. So that you'll realize that, oh, I'm not allowed to give shalom. It's really not. Well, right. So that's what the place can say. Really, you shouldn't say shalom aleichem. Even if you meet a friend before davening, you shouldn't say shalom aleichem, because that's already too much. But any other thing, mazel tov, baruch haba, that's what he says on the bottom. Good Shabbos, good Yom Tif, that's all okay. Right? Even shaking hands. Right?
Not in COVID time.
What?
Not in COVID time.
Not in COVID time. Correct.
There's no COVID.
What you could say, you could say good Shabbos and Mazel Tov, but not Shalom Aleichem.
Correct. Yeah.
When you go to pick up the chassan, let's say you go to pick up the chassan.
Oh, very good, very good. So when you go pick up the chassan, he brings on the bottom here. He still says you shouldn't say shalom. Say another greeting. Better to say Mazel Tov, Shabbos, anything like that. Right? Fine. Vav. This is what we discussed last week. This is also a fascinating piece here. Also, afilu lilmaid asur loy lehaschil misha'ala amad hashachar. Even to learn Torah is asur once daybreak. So nowadays, I would say what? 4:30, right? Right. What time is the Nets? Around 10 to 6 nowadays. I know, but the Shulchan Kitzur says in the Shulchan, so you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to learn before davening. But if you go learn in shul, so the shul's going to have a minyan, so we're not afraid that you're going to get stuck in your learning and forget to daven. So it sounds like at home though you can't. Otherwise we should all have that issue that we get so engrossed in our learning that we burn right through Zman Tefillah. Right? And the same thing if you learn with others. And if you're not going to learn now, they're not going to end up learning. It's mutter to learn with them. To learn with a rabbin, that's a davar gadol. You can't miss Zman Tefillah. Right? So Ba'etzim again, the order is like this. Shulchan the Kitzur Paskin, you're not allowed to learn before davening. But if you do it in the shul, you're allowed to learn before davening. Or if it's going to be a bittul of limud, then you're allowed to.
So he says, right? Shloilav is man tefillah, but Zman Kriya Shema they could.
Well, because Zman Kriya is assuming you'll just read Shema. Pasha says you should read Shema before the learning. That's why I think so. And he brings here the Aruch HaShulchan says that minhag ha'olam is to be makel to learn, and he says adarabah, it's a hiddur. It's a hiddur to learn before davening. That's the way Aruch HaShulchan says. Now, again, hashkafically, I don't understand, because from Shulchan Aruch's times, what happened to the hiddur from the Shulchan Aruch's days? They couldn't figure out that hiddur, right? The hiddur, right? All of a sudden, in the Aruch HaShulchan's days, it became a hiddur to learn before davening, but the Shulchan Aruch's days not, right? But he also brings it from the Kav HaYashor that, well, he doesn't. He says you can't waste your time before davening, like reading the news and the newspapers, because it messes with your brain. In the morning, you're fresh. All of a sudden, you read your texts, and you go on your Twitter and your Facebook and your emails, and now your head is already tzamished, right? He says, and you shouldn't speak schulin. And so the Kav HaYashor says it's a segula nifla sheyikavel Hashem berachmav tfilasim. If you don't do any hacking around before the davening, right? So the coffee rooms, right? So what's going on in the coffee rooms before davening with the oil and with the talis draped over the shoulder? That seems like a prerequisite to make a coffee, right? You got to take out your talis, put it over your shoulder, and then you make the coffee, right? I don't know where that comes from, that minhag. So, but he's saying don't do that, right? Oh, it's late already. Okay, fine. So next week, we start with tzitzis. All right.
See, Yaakov is a meister. They say about the Kutska. He was upset with himself. He was always davening late. So one day he made up. He's in daven early on time, So he goes to the base medrash and he sees a Gemara on the table. So he takes it, opens the Gemara, and he puts down his house and filling. But he didn't even sit down. He just put his foot up on the bench. And then 10 minutes before Shkia, he picked his head up out of the Taisvis that he was looking at for the 8 hours.
Halavai by all of us. Yeah. All right. I'll see you soon.
I still want to have a joke or something. If we have